Good morning and welcome. I'm John Fox, and I'll be co-presenting here with Dan Staples to give you a strategic update on Solid Edge. Thanks for joining us here at Realize Live Europe and the Solid Edge track. We have 16 Solid Edge sessions for you, including this one, where you'll get an exclusive sneak peek at our upcoming Solid Edge 2023 release, planned for October. We also have 2 product management roundtables, a startup roundtable, and many other product sessions with our technical experts. And a big thank you to our customers who are presenting this week. We have presentations from Marcus Mueller of Sofina and Alan Adijan of Yanu, the man behind that robot bartender you may have seen last night and gotten a drink from. So some of the most innovative startups in the world are choosing Solid Edge, and we'd love to shine the spotlight on them and celebrate their success. Our startup customers are out to change the world and disrupt their competition with products ranging from social robots for teaching kids, cutting-edge racing simulators for Formula One teams, and of course, AI-driven robotic bartenders. And we're also partnering with incubators and universities to support aspiring entrepreneurs early in their careers. This afternoon, we have a special presentation from the winning team of a recent competition at the University of Birmingham. They won the competition based on the strength of their product design and also because of their business plan for taking it to market. As a Solid Edge customer, you're part of a global community of Solid Edge users, and there's never been a better time to connect and benefit from this network. Through physical events like this one and virtual events, also more and more throughout Europe, we're holding Solid Edge University events, and also through our online community, which continues to grow. If you haven't checked it out recently, I encourage you to do so. And thanks to the positive online reviews of our customers, Solid Edge has recently been named to G2's 2022 Best Software Awards, ranking on the global list for CAD PLM products and global sellers. This award means a lot to me and the whole Solid Edge team because it's based on the real reviews of real customers. We're really proud of that, and we pride ourselves in meeting or exceeding the demands of our customers. If you haven't heard of G2, it's the leading platform for software reviews and a marketplace in and of itself. And we'd like to keep that momentum going. So there's a special offer that's running throughout this week. Hold up your phone to this QR code. It will take you to the offer. If you write a review of Solid Edge this week, you'll get a $25 Amazon gift card. And G2 will also donate $10 to the Ukrainian Red Cross. There's a goal we're hoping to reach, I think, of about $1,000. We're almost there. So please, if you have some time this week, go to that link and check it out. If you don't get the link, come talk to us afterwards. As you've heard, the theme for Realize Live is Join the Transformation. And by that, we mean digital transformation. But what does DX specifically mean for small and mid-sized businesses? That's something we're really focused on with the Solid Edge business. We sponsored an exclusive study with industry analyst IDC, and the focus was specifically on SMB manufacturers. There's really no other survey of its kind like this. We surveyed key decision makers at hundreds of SMBs around the world, asking them questions about their digital transformation, their strategies, plans, and their recent progress. We conducted this study at the end of 2021, but we also did roughly the same survey in 2017, so now we're able to look at the trends over recent years. And of particular interest is what happened during the global pandemic. So the study recently published, but I just wanted to share a couple highlights for you this morning. First, 72% of the advanced SMBs surveyed believe that digital transformation helps level the playing field for small businesses against their larger competitors. That's even higher than the last time the survey was taken, when it was about 63%. We asked about their investments during the global pandemic and related disruptions. 80% of SMBs maintained or increased their digital transformation budgets. I think that's a measure of how important and strategic these initiatives are. And the second highlight The survey asked about technology priorities. Cloud computing and software as a service, or SaaS, stood out. Nearly a third of SMB manufacturers said that they were prioritizing software as a service solutions, and nearly half said that these categories would be a technology priority in the next 12 months. IDC notes the cloud is the great enabler for collaboration and analytics. And the cloud is a great enabler for collaboration. You may have heard Tony Hemmelgarn talk about Harsh International in his keynote. So I wanted to delve a little bit deeper into this story. Harsh is using our new cloud collaboration product, Accelerator Share, along with Solid Edge to collaborate more effectively and reduce their design and development time by as much as 80%. Now here's a short video covering that story that will make its European debut today.
Harsh International is a manufacturing company in northern Colorado. We manufacture everything from livestock equipment to hydraulic truck equipment.
Bob came to me with the idea to create a larger hoist, but one that doesn't have the cylinders swinging underneath the truck.
With Accelerator Share, we could click on it, send it to Bob. It didn't matter if it was over the weekend or he might have been in the office next door looking at it.
Those guys would be able to pull it up on their computer and just take a look at everything and say, this part could be a little bit different. And I was able to just bounce back those ideas really fast between all of us.
The need for people to be in the same room is not near as important as it was before. Now it's on a computer screen. Everybody knows exactly what needs to be done. As soon as they complete it, you see the result of that right there on the drawing, the 3D solid model I'm looking at. The time you spend addressing that issue is dramatically reduced. Being able to take that hoist from conception to fruition and then on to production in something in the range of 3 to 4 months was awesome. Hitting that market as fast as you can means taking advantage of that market as quickly as you can. That's what Share has done for us.
We love stories like that, helping companies like Harsh succeed with digital transformation. And Siemens is really committed to that mission. The investment Siemens has made over the last several years has just been phenomenal. As you can see here on the slide, the list of companies that we've brought into the digital industry software portfolio. We've literally invested more than 10 billion euros over the past several years, and we've become one of the largest and most successful software companies in the world. In fact, one of the top 10 software companies. And really, Siemens Digital Industries is all about how we help companies like Harsh and like yours transform into a digital enterprise. And that digital transformation is enabled by Accelerator. Accelerator is an integrated portfolio of software and services, and it really blurs the boundaries between the traditional silos like electrical design, mechanical design, software design. It really ties all those together into a seamless whole. And Accelerator really starts with Solid Edge. Solid Edge is a key part of the Siemens Accelerator portfolio, and it's focused on the specific requirements of the small and medium-sized manufacturers that we study so closely. So in a way, Solid Edge gives that section of the market access to all these powerful technologies within this broader Siemens portfolio and really helps democratize them and bring them to market at a very affordable price point and make them very accessible. So in that way, we like to think of Solid Edge as the on-ramp to digital transformation. So now, to take a closer look at the Solid Edge portfolio, which is what this session is all about, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, Dan Staples.
Thanks so much, John. So as John said, Solid Edge is that on-ramp to digital transformation. And I know that many folks think of Solid Edge as a CAD system, and it's a great CAD system and has been for many years. But it's really so much more than that. It's a full portfolio of solutions. So whether that's electrical design and that's doing panel and control design, or perhaps it's wire harness, full solution for that. Simulation, the Solid Edge portfolio for simulation is extraordinarily deep. So whether it's linear stress analysis or buckling, thermal, heat transfer, fluid flow, it's all there. This is one of those areas that I feel like customers really need to take a bit more advantage of, the ability to do that digital transformation by front-loading your design analysis and finding problems before they start. Take a look at Solid Edge simulation in more detail. Manufacturing, I can honestly say best in the business. Obviously, NX CAM has been around for many, many years, and really the start of it 40 or so years ago. Deep algorithms, deep technology that we can leverage in the Solid Edge portfolio. Technical publications. There are many folks out there who have built hundreds of thousands of Solid Edge parts. I actually know a Solid Edge customer that's built over 15 million parts in their library. Leverage that data and use it for technical publications, whether those are printed publications, web publications. And finally, data management and collaboration, a whole suite of tools here, Team Center, as well as we'll talk about Accelerator Share quite a bit more. So let's delve into that journey a little bit in collaboration. Starting quite some time ago, 2015, Solid Edge ST8. And we started looking at streaming Solid Edge through a web browser. Could you, instead of having it on your desktop, could you stream it through the internet into a web browser? Monthly subscriptions. We talked about that in several sessions this week, that we're talking about different ways to deliver the portfolio to you. ST9 2016, we added the ability to work anywhere in the world. Desktop product, but yes, your settings follow you, your login follows you, etc. Our first foray into collaboration on the cloud using the Solid Edge portal in 2018. And then starting to build out things like augmented reality in 2020. All culminating with where we are today with Solid Edge 2022 and the ability to synchronize to your desktop with secure cloud storage, permission-based project sharing, all built and tightly integrated into Solid Edge itself. And so let's talk about, though, the delivery of that through a subscription mechanism. So Solid Edge has always been, as I said, great CAD software. But what else can we bring to you besides great CAD software? We're delivering Solid Edge on the desktop in a perpetual way as usual, but also delivering something called Solid Edge ZaaS. And so, of course, it includes all the greatness of Solid Edge. But it also includes things like secure cloud storage, as we discussed. And it uses the cloud for scalable computing. Things like augmented reality take quite a bit of horsepower. We can do that with Solid Edge ZaaS. Very importantly, collaboration, right? Single source of truth. The ability to collaborate with your customers and your suppliers, upstream, downstream, all that's available to you. And then finally, mobility. Anytime, any place, any device, as you saw with the Harsh International case study, that ability to work across the team in disparate geographic locations, they reduced their design time by 80%. 80%. Hard to believe, but true. So when you think of Solid Edge, and again, I encourage you to think of Solid Edge as not just a CAD system, but a full portfolio of solutions and the on-ramp to digital transformation. We can deliver it to you in either way you prefer. We can deliver you Solid Edge Perpetual, as we've done for many, many years, and you're probably very used to. But we can deliver also those great new benefits to you with Solid Edge ZaaS, whether that's the mobility benefit, collaboration, but also the bite-sized use of OpEx instead of CapEx, for example. And one of the reasons that we're delivering this flexibility is that we know that your operations are complex. Your business is complex, your industry is complex, and it's getting more complex every single day. And we know that that's led to what I would say is not an optimal thing. You're having to use disparate design systems if you're a large company. So yes, you maybe have Siemens tool like NX or Solid Edge as your primary CAD system. But through acquisition or other small departments, you've got a lot of other stuff in there. You've got some Dassault stuff in there, some PTC stuff in there, maybe some Autodesk stuff in there. And that just causes a lot of complexity, different licensing systems, different vendors to deal with, and so on. So I'm pleased to announce a solution to that called Siemens Mechanical Design. And Siemens Mechanical Design is a unique offering in the industry. Nobody can do anything like this. And it's a license that lets you use NX or Solid Edge at any given time, because we know you have a variety of diverse product requirements. What do I mean by change the mix at any time? In the past, it would mean, oh, I need to contact my sales rep, I need to trade in licenses, I need to figure out how to transfer licenses between divisions. None of that anymore. So let's take an example, and in this example I bought 5 seats of Siemens mechanical design. So how might I use those? 8 o'clock in the morning. And I start out and I'm using 5 NX seats. So I have 5 designers using NX at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I've used up the 5 seats of mechanical design. So no Solid Edge being used at this time. But a little later in the day, I have a different need. And 2 of the guys have logged out of NX, so now they're only using 3 of the mechanical design seats. It's actually a 3-to-1 ratio, so I can use 6 Solid Edge seats at this point in time. So literally in this 5-seat example, I can use 5 NX, or I can use 15 Solid Edge, or any mix and match in between, no trade-ins, no discussion with anyone, and so you can consolidate around this single vendor and the ability to manage this much more effectively. If you would like to learn more about that, and as I say, this is a fairly new program for us, and we see a lot of folks here at the conference that could take advantage of this because they have, for example, NX with a mix of other systems. Either take a pic of the QR code or actually a fairly sensible link you can possibly remember, siemens.com/siemens-mechanical-design. So as John was saying, accelerator, digital transformation, Solid Edge, very important part of that, and really your on-ramp to digital transformation. And so as we look at that in more detail, we bring that to a close. Let's take a look at what's new in Solid Edge. What's new in Solid Edge 2022? And for those of you following our release cadence, we brought this out last fall in October, Solid Edge 2022. So a lot of customers are already using this product in depth, but I want to share with you a lot of the different features of it. And so it's a giant release. We've had many customers tell us Solid Edge 2021 was the biggest release ever, it's the most amazing release ever, and they've come and looked at this release and said, no, it's bigger, it's better, it's even better than Solid Edge 2021. So it includes Accelerator Share if you're doing SaaS subscription, as I discussed, something new called CAD Direct that allows you to use files from other places, whether that's NX, SolidWorks, STEP, without translation and without the need to keep track of many files. Convergent hybrid modeling, unique to Siemens. The ability to mix BREP with triangles in a very seamless way. We'll talk about and see that. Very excited about point cloud visualization. If you're working on machines these days that are going into a factory or a plant context, it's very common to be able to get a scan of that plant context, very dense color scan. You can now with Solid Edge integrate that into your design process. And more than 500 customer requested things, just your daily use. What are you doing that we could make more productive for you? More than 500 enhancements in general. And as you see, many, many other things. We're only going to have a chance to go through some of this today. I invite you to dig deep into the Solid Edge 2022 release. I find when I talk to customers around the world, there are many who are using Solid Edge 2021, say, the same as they used it 10 years ago. They're just using the basic CAD functionality. And there's so much more to take advantage of there. You can make your company more productive. You can make your design life much easier if you look at all the depth and breadth of Solid Edge and take advantage of it. As we go through this, I'd like to spotlight a couple customer data sets that we've been able to use in our demonstrations here. First of all, coffee maker, espresso maker from Fiamma. Really appreciate that. There's so much breadth here, we can't even cover it with a single data set. And a pharmaceutical packaging machine from Bergner. So I'd like to thank both those companies for allowing us to use that data, and I'd like to thank them for their Solid Edge usage and the great work they do. So let's start with the core of mechanical design. And we're going to cover CAD Direct that I talked about. We're also going to cover the convergent hybrid modeling. And there's several other things we'll cover as well. There's just really not enough time to cover all the features, but let's cover a few. So let's start out with something called subdivision modeling. It's a technique for modeling that allows you to make very interesting and beautiful shapes very, very quickly. So using the bridge command, we're able to bridge between these two surfaces, but we now also have the ability to use a follow curve kind of command. So I can modify the cage and cause it to follow this curve super easily. I can also create curves in context, meaning I don't have to have a curve pre-existing. I can just sketch it as part of the command and really morph this into a shape that I'm happy with. We've added additional facilities to split the cage, which allows us to do other types of modeling modifications. Importantly, this is creating a fully continuous surface, G2 continuous across all the surfaces in the mesh. Moving on to convergent hybrid modeling. This is a mesh model that's been brought in. The mesh data is a little bit dirty, but we can clean it up very quickly and identify planar regions and circular regions. We can draw sketches directly on it and then do solid modeling commands. We're actually doing a round here between triangles and BREP. This is something you won't see in any other system. One of the things that's most amazing about it is just how transparent it is. You use the same commands no matter whether you're working with mesh or non-mesh. And you just integrate it into your design just like you would any other part. Perhaps we give it a color. And then we just bring it right into the design process. A lot of enhancements in drawings as well. So family of assemblies, long time coming on this one, but the ability to have like a one spout, two spout configuration, put that directly on the drawing of a bill of materials. Dimensioning to intersections, obviously we've done that forever, but putting the cross lines there between the dimensioned intersections as well. Watermarking on drawings, perhaps you want to use a property. How do I keep track of whether this is available, released, whatever it might be. And now jumping over to CAD Direct. So in CAD Direct here we're going to use something that was designed in NX, a part of our coffee maker, maybe came from another division, comes to us from NX, and we put it into our assembly. But you notice there's really no translation here. It's just inserted into the assembly using CAD Direct. Going over to NX, design change required. Let's make that change in NX and come back. What happens? It automatically updates. No files to keep track of. I think that's the amazing thing. So how often does that happen that you get something from a supplier and then you have to they make changes and you have to get a new one and a new one and a new one, and which one's the right one, and you have 10 files that you re-imported. None of that here. So you can use the geometry directly without translation, and very importantly, that data management nightmare goes away. You simply say, I want to use this NX file, SolidWorks file, whatever it may be, in your assembly, and you're able to then use it and take updates without any extra files or retranslation. We saw convergent hybrid modeling. This is a unique capability to mix the triangles and the solid models together. It was always triangles are becoming a more and more popular format, but it's always been this guy in the corner there doing something special with triangles. Now it's part of your design process, very fluid. If you saw that demonstration and thought, well, I can't really see any difference between regular modeling, that in fact is the point. Okay, moving on to other mechanical design enhancements. Point cloud, we'll take a look at that, very powerful technology. A lot of work on large assemblies. Our customers start out maybe doing a machine, then they're doing a line of machines. We're getting larger and larger, and we get faster and faster. And we'll talk also about synchronous radiate. Those of you using synchronous technology, a great new capability. So let's start out with a few other things though, like for example, gussets. If you're doing frame systems, it's really common to need to place gussets. It's really effortless to do so. I simply identify the frame members that I want to place the gusset between, right justify, left justify, center justify. Synchronous radiate for radial parts, nothing faster, nothing better. Select the geometry and be able to change it easily. We've also added great enhancements to capture fit. So you're assembling parts, why not capture in the part itself how it's going to be assembled? And then we'll look in the assembly for likely candidates for where to put it. Makes it so fast. Watch how fast this handle goes on to all these different locations, just instantly knows what to do. You also have the capability to control it. So in this case, I only want to put the bolts on a certain section. I'm going to just put all the bolts there in one go. Amazing, amazing productivity. Point clouds. This is a high density color scan of point cloud. Over 1 billion points being manipulated in real time here. I can integrate my design into the plant, and I can use it for context to worry about things that I might need to change, design changes. Bringing in the different pieces of the puzzle, I need in this case to measure between this pipe and the factory itself or the plant it's going into, and there was an interference problem. I can make that adjustment right there. One of the things we didn't get a chance to see is large assembly performance. Amazing improvements there. So in the past, when you brought up a very large assembly, we had to go get all the data off disk, all the different part files, thousands of them, wherever they may be. We now cache a lot of that data directly in the assembly, so you can instantly bring it up, visualize it, and then say, I want to work on this portion here, and when you work on that portion, we can then load that key portion. Massive improvement in assembly performance for very, very large assemblies. Also work on multi-body and a variety of other areas. Our customers are already seeing the benefits of this. Luca Carminati at CMS was actually a part of our beta back in almost a year ago, I suppose. But that assembly preview mode allows them to do their very large assemblies much, much more cleanly. We saw the point cloud visualization. This is super powerful. It's a laser scan of the plant. The laser scan gets all the point colors. And what we were seeing actually, there's no triangles like are used traditionally in display. That was simply a billion points being manipulated in real time, integrated within Solid Edge. And you can measure between the point cloud and the Solid Edge data itself. Again, customers who had early access to this, like Bergner, really important for those kind of folks. We have folks who make, for example, the luggage handling systems you see in major airports. Beautiful thing to be able to scan in that airport context, put those luggage systems in the middle of that context, see what problems they might have. And synchronous radiate just happened so fast, so easily, it kind of flew by. But I think that's the point about synchronous modeling. It's just a beautiful thing, super fast, super easy. And now with synchronous radiate, even easier. In Solid Edge Design Configurator, I'm talking about a lot of different things here. And I would hope that you'll look at all these different things and see how you can make money using these different technologies. Solid Edge Design Configurator, if you have anything that is sort of designed to order, sometimes it's longer and has 5 of these, sometimes it's shorter and has 3 of these, but I want a sales engineer even to be able to configure this. You can do that with Solid Edge Design Configurator. So it starts with the lead engineer. So he's the one with the knowledge about what do you need to do to configure this. When it's longer, it has more rollers. When it's longer, it has more braces. There's a lot of really deep technology here to put in formulas, if then else logic, anything that you might need to do to define how things are configured. But when you're done with that, it is going to automatically build an interface for the sales engineer that makes it super easy to interact with. So in a second here, you're going to see up here on the left, this is just a form with 3 or 4 fields in it. Watch how fast it reconfigures the part. And as we turn it over, you're going to notice that there's 2 braces. So a bunch more rollers, longer thing, 2 braces. What if the sales engineer configures a shorter one? It gets shorter, less rollers, bigger rollers, and guess what? Only 1 brace on the bottom. So the engineer captures all that knowledge, and then really anyone can configure to order that knowledge. So if you have any type of engineer to order, configure to order process, you really need to be using Solid Edge Design Configurator. Take a look at it. I think you'll be very impressed. What about 2.5-axis milling in Solid Edge CAM Pro? Well, we've had Solid Edge CAM Pro for several years now based on amazing NX machining technology. So what's the big news here? The big news is that if you have Solid Edge and you're paying maintenance, you now have Solid Edge CAM Pro 2.5-axis. It's included at no extra charge if you're paying maintenance in Solid Edge. And it is really the deepest and best in the industry, again, because it's based on this long-standing technology. So we take our Solid Edge part, where we've got a pocket that we need to machine, maybe some profiling and such, goes straight into CAM Pro. Many years ago, when I first started in this industry, we used to do pocketing by going in circles, if you will. It's much more efficient to use like a scallop kind of path. And as you can see here, this is automatically generated in Solid Edge CAM Pro. And so you see the motion of the tool here and how it operates to very quickly clear that pocket. Whether it's clearing the pocket or whether it's profiling operations or whether it's drilling, it's all there for you. And most importantly, it's all there for you if you're an active Solid Edge maintenance customer. So if you're using some other solution and paying maintenance on that solution, or you're thinking of buying a CAM system, there's really no point in that because Solid Edge CAM Pro 2.5-axis comes with Solid Edge now, as long as you're an active maintenance customer. So John mentioned accelerator share, and we had the Harsh International case study. I think this is an amazing new capability to collaborate with your customers and suppliers. We see that the world's changed. It already was distributed. People were working in all different locations, collaborating, and so on. But now, even more than ever, there's work at home throughout the world. How are you going to collaborate with all the different teams in different locations? So let's take a quick demo, or take a look at a quick demo of how it works. So we start out here, and we're just here actually on an iPad or Surface, some sort of device. We can explode the assembly, we can look around at it, and we say, oh, you know what, I think something needs to be different here. I'm going to pop into one of these parts and annotate some changes I need. Simple to do, rotate the part around, and say, well, I think we're going to need a pocket in here, so I'm going to put a little text note here, and it's kind of cool because I can like scribble it out. I can write in here by hand, and it's automatically turning that into real text. So he wants to create a cutout, done. Now I need somebody the actual engineer, to do this work, right? And so I'm going to send this off to him. Much like Dropbox, there's a connector on the desktop side of things that will automatically be synchronizing the data. So the engineer doesn't have to go up to the cloud and download this data and this kind of thing. It just comes automatically to his desktop. And then Solid Edge can retrieve that data for the change. Accelerator Share is built right into Solid Edge. So when I say I want to take a look at the change as required, it pops up the viewer automatically. I can go straight to that remark and see what needs to be done. I make the cutout, and then again, right within the window here, I'm going to say, hey, I finished this up. I'm going to make a new markup, and I'm going to send this back to the other guy. Or maybe I'm going to send this on to manufacturing production. One of the great things about Accelerator Share is you can share the data with the people that you need to super easily. You simply choose, is this an internal user, external user, and what kind of access do they have? If you want to limit it to view only, you can do that. View and markup, or they can download the data if they need to work with it. We also support virtual or augmented reality through your tablet device here. So we're going to take our coffee maker, we're going to scan the surface of that countertop so we know what flat is, and automatically put it on that flat surface, integrate it into the environment. So if you're looking at Accelerator Share and a SaaS subscription of Solid Edge, you get this augmented reality as a part of that. So as you see, it's next generation cloud collaboration. Again, everybody's distributed these days. But I think more than anything, aside from just your engineering department, suppliers are here, suppliers are there, customers are here, customers are there. And it's not always a formal collaboration system where you bring them inside your PDM firewall. It's often a very ad hoc kind of thing, and Share is perfect for that ad hoc collaboration. Any device, anywhere. Solid Edge simulation. Lots of things going on there, as usual. One of the new features is hydrostatic pressure. You can imagine how much work this would be to do without this technology. So here I just want to load this with a liquid. I say what the liquid is so that we know the density and so on, and it will automatically vary the load from top to bottom. Obviously, the top of the tank has a light hydrostatic pressure. The bottom of the tank has a high hydrostatic pressure. And we can then quickly visualize the results of that. We've also made some great enhancements to beams. So when beams are put together, they're trimmed in various ways. For finite element analysis, it makes it kind of awkward because they may have gaps between the center lines. It may have overlaps between the center lines. The way in which we can automatically connect beams in order to do a structure, very much enhanced in Solid Edge 2022. Apply some boundary conditions, some fixed points, some forces, and so on, and there you go. A great ability to do remeshing. We talk a lot about meshing of parts and that we're getting in a lot of triangles. We have some amazing technology from CD Adapco, one of our acquisitions many years ago, that allows us to mesh meshes. And that allows us to take all this odd mesh data or mixed mesh data and use it very effectively. Some great new capabilities in fluid flow analysis, including the ability to deal with magnetic effects and how does that affect your analysis. So quite a lot of new things in Solid Edge simulation. The new mesh generation across a mesh itself, the hydrostatic pressure, and so on. And finally, SimCenter FlowMaster for Solid Edge. If you're doing any type of piping systems, it's a different kind of analysis. What's the pressure drop and so on. And we can now do that with SimCenter FlowMaster for Solid Edge. So we take our Solid Edge assembly, and we have a piping system, and we need to know how it's going to react. And it does what we call a 1D analysis, right? It's going to extract the volumes of the pipes. It's going to extract the center lines of the pipes. And then you'll put in, again, some sort of boundary conditions, but instead of, things like, a fixed constraint and some force, we're going to put in boundary conditions like, the pressure at a given area or so on. As I say, it's kind of a 1D analysis, if you will. So we're going to pop in here and we're going to see the center lines that have automatically been extracted. And in those center lines, we need to put a pressure load at this one end, and I think we put a pressure load at the other end. And what happens in that system? This is a very complicated problem to solve. That's what SimCenter FlowMaster for Solid Edge will do. And we can then easily see exactly how the system reacts to those inputs. Tightly integrated with Solid Edge, very easy to use. Something, if you're doing piping systems, I suggest you look at this very closely. We've had great response to Solid Edge 2022. Folks like Karsten at FOCA, simply enormous. Everybody's saying best release ever, biggest release ever. I think that's very accurate, and we'll continue to make each release the biggest and best ever. Now, I only was able to show you a few things here. There's just a lot more than that, if you can believe it. And so I invite you to learn more about it. So again, we've tried to make this simple. Of course, you can capture the QR code. But also, if you just go to Siemens.com, super easy, Solid Edge 2022, you're going to find all the information you need, or work with your reseller partner. Okay, now a special sneak peek for this audience. This is only the second audience to ever see this. Solid Edge 2023 coming up this fall. Tons and tons of stuff in there. I'm just going to show you a little tiny portion, just a few little things to get you excited about what's coming up next release. So first of all, you're going to see the user interface is quite a bit different. It's been streamlined, the colors harmonized, and so on. And so you might not recognize Solid Edge at first, but this is good old Solid Edge you're used to. We've taken a lot of the lessons from synchronous technology and moved them into ordered modeling. So one of the great things in synchronous is the regions. No more trimming profiles, no more trying to, is my profile closed or not? You simply select the regions and the system does the rest for you. So you can see how quickly we're developing geometry here because of the region selection. Now, one of the things you may notice also, though, is we're doing this in a vertical ribbon style. And we'll talk more about that in a second. We've also integrated in a bunch of synchronous technology features, but as direct modeling in Solid Edge. So as we put a few finishing rounds and such on here, what if we want to do a move face? Well, instead of doing it the old-fashioned way, we're going to do it the synchronous way. We're going to use the steering wheel that's automatically going to recognize design intent of symmetric. So here we say we want to do some face rotate with the steering wheel, symmetric, all the great things you see in synchronous, but now in an ordered modeling environment as well. And so as we make these changes, you can see how easy it is and how it reacts perfectly. One other thing I want to show you is Explode. Explode is, I'm going to get to Explode in a second. I want to show you first PMI enhancements and MBD. So great ability in Solid Edge already, augmented significantly in Solid Edge 2022. This great new thumbnails on the right here, the ability to have your PMI easy to snap to, know what you're doing. Creating views, now super easy to capture something from one view, take it to another view. Simply pick a view and say, I want to create a drawing. Dimensions and everything right on the drawing automatically. That easy. And then finally, some great new technology in Explode. You saw this in Share, the ability to very quickly explode out an assembly and be able to look at all its components really just instantaneously. Look at it from various different views, but also a new enhancement that we just put into Solid Edge only, which is the ability to do it by subassembly. So you'll see here, if we set a parameter, we're going to explode it, and the subassemblies explode out. And then if you continue, now it's going to explode out further from the subassemblies. Really, really amazing stuff. So that's just a little sneak peek at Solid Edge 2023. And I am very excited to release that to you later this year. Now, I invite you to make the most of this conference. Get around, see all the different sessions. 16 live sessions, including 2 product roundtables, the keynote we're currently at, 10 product sessions, and some great academic sessions as well. So make the most of that. Also make the most of your networking opportunities, talking to the folks in this room, talking to others throughout the conference. And then make the most of it outside of this room, the Solid Edge Community Forum. This is an amazing, vibrant forum where users discuss things. New users come in and say, hey, I don't know how to do X, Y, or Z. And someone very well from within this room will answer within a few minutes, here's how you do those kind of things. I'm frequently in there, my team are frequently in there. It's the best way to become part of the online Solid Edge community. I also invite you to visit the Solid Edge Solutions Center that's in the main hall and have the opportunity there to speak with representatives. Also, remember to make a review on G2, and if you use that code John had earlier, you can also get that Amazon gift card. Really appreciate all of you being here today. I appreciate our audience that's watching as well outside of the room today. I want to thank you all so much. Thanks so much.